So what are we going to learn or understand in this session? We're going to learn the story of Alice in Wonderland. Isn't that interesting? Well, if that sounds Greek to you in the context of technical communication, Bob is going to decrypt that for us, and he's going to take us on his journey of 40 years of experience in technical communication. So to give you a little background about Bob, he is a senior principal technical editor at Oracle, and in this session he plans to share few experiences that he has had, and in terms of content, what is that one example that he really thought is worth sharing with all of us in understanding consistency in terminologies. So let us understand that before. Bob, are we good?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hold on to those for a second.
Okay, the folks who are
I
just
should
joining,
charge
please occupy
admission.
the seats here.
2 3x5 index cards. On one of those index cards, I want your first name and the first initial of your last name. And on the second index card, I'm just going to hold on to that for a second. Now, how many of you have been born after 1983? After 1983. On something about sailing uncharted waters? Before you guys were born. So, I think it's kind of interesting that this seminar, that this conference is labeled sailing all over again. Manoj, wherever he is.
I am here.
There you are. Has the article that I go, oh my God, I should have charged admission. Let me, okay. So when you've done the first card with your name and initial, could you pass it to the center aisle? And I'm going to pick them up from there.
Bob, do you have extra cards?
No, I haven't. I didn't think I was going to have this many people. Oh, it's not me. It's Steve Jobs. Okay. When your cards are done, please pass them into the center. I'll pick them up from the people sitting on the aisle. Computer industry, computer software industry. Well, how many are not working in the computer software industry? So I'm guessing that almost everyone in the computer software industry. Okay. In computer software, at least in the products that I work on, the word persist means something special. And, okay, everybody's laughing, and my people are nodding, yeah, because it's an example I use all the time.
So the Indian nod.
So, I would like you to write on one side of that card what your definition of the word persist means in computer terminology. When we talk about persisting something, what do we actually mean? And on the second side of that card, I would like you to write the definition that you guys use when you use the term consume, as in consume information rather than consuming food. I want you to be as specific as you can about what you mean by persist. We got a couple of extra chairs up here in front. And what you mean as specifically as possible by the word consume. Okay? And you people that don't have 2 cards, you're going to get chocolates anyway. Okay? Just so you don't feel left out. Which gives them a better chance of having chocolate than anybody else. Okay, so the names. Oh, okay. And we're going to do a little bit of fun with Alice in Wonderland. When we get the definitions of persist and consume collected, we're going to play with Alice in Wonderland a little bit. I've run out. Yeah, I didn't think
That's it, right?
I had thought about maybe cutting them in half, and I said, but if you don't have a card, I might ask you about, those of you who don't have cards, what do you mean by persist?
She has a question. Clarify the question.
Have to write the meaning or I have to write the definition?
The definition, when you use persist, what do you mean? What does it mean? If you had to replace it with 11 words, what would those 11 words be? Okay, so all the cards with the names. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But still working with names?
No, I'm writing the definition.
Instructions. This is your first job. You hold on to all of these. I'm going to ask you to pull one randomly from this deck. So, while you're working on this, you don't have to listen to this. This is just me talking again. I have found Alice in Wonderland and Alice in the Looking Glass to be absolutely wonderful texts. Don't make any sense. They have fun. They play. And all of those words are eventually defined. Alice wanders around saying, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. What is, not the way we write technical stuff. Words can't mean what you want them to mean today. They have to mean the same thing today, tomorrow, next year, in. Okay. In your document, as they mean in your document, if you're working for the same company. Otherwise, your readers are going to get just a little bit confused. And they're going to read Gunjan's document and say, well, she means persist this way. And they're going to read your document, persist means something else. Am I talking too fast? Okay. You're supposed to raise your right hand if I'm talking too fast. I didn't see any right hands. Okay, definitions to the center. I think you're probably all done now. You don't have cards. You get chocolates. Definitions to the center. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's the none of these guys.
Thank you. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Definitions to the center. Look at this. Definition. You should charge admission. Change. Okay. Persist. Okay. Persist. Continue. Persist. Continue to better the product on the documentation. Let's see. Persist. To commit a particular object. This is the one I'm looking for. To commit a particular object into the memory or database. Okay, so how, is that your, okay. That's because I can tell you, this is what I mean. Why I don't do slides, okay, let's go to the agenda. I don't do slides because you're reading the slide now, aren't you? Yeah, that's why I don't do slides. If I did slides, I'd just stand here and hand out handouts so you could take them away and then I'd say, thank you so much, go on. I think that it's more fun to listen to what I'm saying because I have a tendency to ramble and wander and just, give me 2 beers, I'm even better. I'm going to do this manage-wise thing right after we do the persistent. I'm going to do this before I do the persist and consume. We're going to take a look at word lists and why I think they're important and why I think your documentation group should think they're important, particularly if you're working in a team. If you're working alone, not so much, but they're memory cues, so you don't forget what you're trying to say. Then we're going to do some play with Alice in Wonderland. And then we're going to play with a user interface that's all Greek. And we're going to document it together. Okay. Here are your objectives. These you can read. Okay? Done. So, manage-wise. Oops, let me go back. This is good stuff. Manage-wise. I was working for a company, had a product called Manage-wise. Doesn't matter what it does, doesn't matter what the company was. But we were doing the documentation for this product called Manage-wise. And one writer said, well, it looks like a hat. And another writer said, well, it doesn't look like a hat. Like if you were in a presentation for how to eat an elephant, it looks like a tail. How does it look like a tail either? The third writer said, it looks like a spear. Okay, guys, we can't be describing, we can't be describing ManageWise multiple different ways because our users are going to get confused by this. They're not going to know what the product does. So my team got together with the writers, the product manager, sales support, 7 different people. And I did the same thing I did with you with persistent consumer. Tell me what ManageWise does. Tell me what ManageWise does. Tell me what ManageWise does. 7 different opinions. Can't have them. We said we're not doing the documentation, go away, figure out what the product does, come back to us next. This is really important. When you're talking about persist, and you use persist in your documentation, if you define it as to save an object in the database, every time you want to talk about saving an object to the database, use the word persist. Every time you use the word persist, mean save the object in the database. So if you end up by saying silly things like persist to the cache, your editor is going to say, that's not what it means. And if you say persisted to the database, your editor will go, that's really not what it means. All right? We're going to get to word lists in a second. Same thing with consume. What did we say for consume? What did you say for consume? Gentleman sitting next to Scott.
Yeah, I said use.
Just to use.
Just use.
Okay. Shreya, what did you say for consume?
Consume.
For consume.
I said read the information.
Okay, so you're reading it and you're just
Using
it. I hope you're not working on the same book. I had a problem because persistent consume, industry standard words, everybody knows what they mean. Everybody knows what they mean in a little bit different flavor than everybody else. Okay, I want you to pay attention to what goes on in your head right now. Strawberry. Okay. What did your taste buds do? What does your head do? How do you know that what happened in your head is the same thing that went on in your head? How do you know that when I said strawberry, he didn't think what you thought of as chocolate? Keep this in mind when you're writing to your audience. They are not, we've talked about subjectivity and objectivity in a couple of other sessions today. Keep this in mind, that just because you think that, and one immediately prior to this one, just because you think that everybody knows what's strawberry, doesn't mean that they all think of it the same way. Now, let's see, what was next? Hunky dunky. Persistent consume word list. I might end up jumping ahead. Nope. Okay, here we go. The power of the word list and why Scott and I and the other editors in my group think that these are so important. Because our writers move around a lot. You know, today you'll be writing on billing and revenue management, tomorrow you'll be writing on order and service management, and the day after that, unified inventory management. Okay? Multiple products. You're going to move around a lot. And what the word list is going to do is when you move to a new product, and you've been using persist to be saved to the database, you want to make sure that when you start writing a new product, every time you use persist, well, you're using it the same way everybody else that is written in our group has been using persist. Make sense? Okay. So the word list is basically just a list of terminology and the definitions that you apply to them. Oracle Communications Billing and Revenue Management is the premier billing and revenue management tool in the United States. Every time you talk about the Oracle's premier billing and revenue management system in the United States, you're talking about BRM. These one-to-one correlations between word and definition are going to help you write stuff. So when you look through the word list, you'll find out simple things like every time we talk about a field on a user interface, we boldface it. Every time we write a procedure, it starts with where you are and then what you do. In the name field, enter your name, rather than enter your name in the name field. There's a logic that we have behind that, which I'm not going to talk about today. And so when you create your word list, you put down usages as you discover new terms or you have to invent new terms. Put them down in your little word list so you can use this way all the time. You use formatting in your word list. You use constructions, you use how to write headings. You know, all of our headings are, they start with gerunds. Managing your users or creating an account, whatever. How many of you people have Okay. And they all work off the same list. And they all know that a bulleted listed is not a complete sentence, that's not going to do with a period. Okay, thank you. Does it also say that that a bulleted listed is not in itself a complete sentence that makes the structure just before the introduction of the bulleted list, makes the structure into a complete sentence? Does it say whether that is a period or not? Don't worry about it. It's irrelevant. Oh, wait. Chocolate. Remind me that I think. Does anybody else answer the question? So much fun with words, so much thinking that you have to do about how Lewis Carroll has constructed the words and what he's trying to get across. This, I think was Humpty Dumpty. Okay. You can read that. I'm not going to have to talk about that very much, but basically, Humpty is using words the way he wants them to be used. Alice doesn't understand. This is not a good thing. One of you is going to be taking home a copy of Alice. One of you, I should have brought 4. One of you is going to be taking home a copy. We don't use any card twice, so take Boone Jones out of there. He's a manager. 14. Read the instructions. Step 1, read the instructions. 2, write your name on the lower left-hand corner of the sheet. Step 3, read it. Step 4, put a song in box number 8. You were there, yeah. Step 5, do this. You're going to need it. You're going to need this information to complete the exercise. One of the exercises at the end. Really means 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is quoted, by the way. Actually, it's a little bit edited, but it's basically quoted. Where are you? There you are. Okay.
So what is slip?
Slitty means live and slangy. Something I might. Live is the same as active. Portmanteau. Okay. How about was slitty and toes? More nose. Another card. See, this is when we have the fun. This is why you want to answer these things to get caught. Okay, so what does toes mean? Now we're allowed to read from the screen. Toes. And it's to go round and round like a gyroscope, okay? But not falling over, because gyroscopes, you know, you can turn this way, don't fall over. Gimbal, another car in the nose.
Michael B.
Gimbals, and I didn't know that gimlets. Most of you have written down the definitions of what these words mean. Okay, so here we're going to go. Oh, louder.
A green pig.
A rat is a green pig. I haven't seen many of those. Okay, give me another card for moan. Moan.
Amrit and
There you are. Okay, so what's a moan? A moan. 9 cards. Don't tell me the names. I'm going to guess them. I want you to pull out 9 cards, and I want you from not in the same place, okay? And I want you to have them ready. And I'm going to read the first word, and when we get to the word that needs a definition, Manoj, you ready? You got 9 cards? Yes. Okay. Got 9 cards now? Hand up here because I'm not going to run around fast enough to get all these numbers. Okay, ready, set.
4 o'clock in the afternoon when it's time to start broiling things.
And the pot was 4 o'clock in the afternoon when stuff starts boiling, and it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the time the things start boiling, and the he didn't write it down. Okay, you yell out cat. Okay, Her first, be next. Okay, pass. Another one.
Sujata P.
10 minutes. Oh my God. Okay. There you are. Good place. Twas. Start from twas. Twas.
In the afternoon, the time when you begin rolling things for the dinner, and
Slimy.
big is slimy, lit is same as active, and
Toads are like little lizardy badgers.
no, it's not my writing, it's
Oh. Okay.
go around.
You all get the idea, right? You all get the idea. That when you do this kind of stuff, you really have to be specific about what all of these silly little words mean. If you screw it up, your reader's not going to understand what you're talking about. Okay, next. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, here is the last reason. Use any character formatting. I want you to tell the audience what character formatting you would use. Bold, italic, green. Wait a minute. Just think about that for a minute, because I'm going to admit something. I'm going to admit something very embarrassing. Am I talking too fast? Okay. I was reading a document from one of our junior writers, and she said, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Because when the document came back, they were all green. And I said, why did you do that? And she said, because you told me to. I don't do that anymore. I'm not flippant with my writers. I didn't think she'd take me seriously. It wasn't. Didn't even work for that. Okay, how would you document for your reader? Fill in that first step. Did I give you a chocolate yet? Go ahead.
Enter the vehicle identification number.
Okay, would you capitalize anything? Would you boldface anything?
It would be capital and word.
Okay, so you would capital VI, the first letters of each word. Okay, you would capitalize this and this and this. Anybody else? Manoj, give me another card. Okay, give me another card, and I'm going to get you. Ravi. No, our Ravi?
I know, it's just Ravi.
That's our Ravi. Another one. Another one.
Okay. Jessna and Jess.
Okay, how would you document that first step? Capitalizing words, making the boldface, making them italic. You were writing down the first
In the second and
Where to go? Action. This is going to tell me where to go. So all I need to do is look on my user interface, go to the thing that looks like that, and enter the information that it tells me to enter. In the enter the vehicle license plate number. That's it around the table. There is one more. One more. You. How do you have on S? You get the book. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you take away just one little tiny thing. Just one little tiny thing. Thanks so much for coming. Way more than I expected.
Thank you so much, Bob, for such a thoroughly entertaining session. This was...
I don't have a voice.
Give me a applause.